Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to show you guys how it started, but please do stick around to see how it's going. But here is how it started.
Carmelo Anthony is a free young man. He is free. They just released him on bail. Yeah. So for everybody who was saying, oh, yeah, he shouldn't be, what y'all got to say now? Okay. He defended himself. That's why the judge lowered his bond to $450K. Yeah. He's out of there. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. We keep fighting, for justice. Yes, in the situation. And all around, it's a sad situation, I don't think he was trying to unalive Austin, but it got to a point where he felt the need to. Who am I to tell him he didn't? Who are you to tell him he didn't? But I'm happy that justice is, truly being served, and Carmelo is free. Now we'll just have to wait till the trial and see what happens. But I'm sending him a lot of good luck and prayers and well wishes. And yeah.
And without further ado, let's see how it is going now.
I knew they were going to do this. I knew they were going to do this, y'all. I knew they were going to do this. And it's taking everything in me not to go crazy right now. This woman right here called a 5-year-old black autistic little boy the N-word and said that that it was justified because he was acting like one. Oh, Rochester. I'm just going to let y'all know. There has been over $250,000 that have raised to give her money after she called a black autistic child the N-word.
Now, isn't that funny, ladies and gentlemen? It's almost poetic, if you will, how some of Carmelo Anthony's biggest, most vocal supporters are now freaking out about some random lady dropping the N-bomb. Just a couple of weeks ago, they were recording themselves on camera, smirking and smiling about Austin getting killed. Smirking and smiling in a little snooty, sarcastic, snobbish way to purposely irritate people who were upset about what happened to Austin. Sitting on camera, boldly putting your face on the camera, celebrating a young kid getting killed while celebrating his killer getting out of jail. She was so happy about what Carmelo did to Austin. She was so happy that Carmelo was getting out of jail. Posting videos to rub it in people's face like nana nana boo boo. A white kid just got killed for no reason and there's nothing y'all can do about it. His killer is now free. And now a week or two later, she's crying, throwing a temper tantrum inside of her house because some lady dropped the hard R. Now, what does this tell you guys, ladies and gentlemen? I can tell you what it tells me. That people with this mentality think that a white person saying the N-word is worse than a black person taking the life of a young white child. To them, a white person saying a simple word that they use 1,000 times a day, that is worse to them than when someone like Carmelo Anthony stabs a white kid in the chest. It's as if white lives are of no value to them. Someone saying the N-word is worse than taking the life of a child to these people. They will celebrate when someone like Austin's life is ended prematurely for no apparent reason. They will celebrate that, and then they will cry, they will kick, and they will scream if someone says their favorite word. Now, I'm not going to sit here and defend what Shiloh said or did, because obviously it's wrong for grown-ass adults to be calling little kids names at the park. But at the same time, it's kind of ticking me off that the whole narrative that is spun around this story is that it was a 5-year-old autistic kid who she called the N-word. And I have yet to see any evidence of that. The only evidence we saw was a kid appear on the video that I'm assuming is the kid in question. And that kid looks like he's at least 11 or 12 years old. And I do think that definitely changes the story. But autistic or not, whoever's kid that is should be watching them, right? They should be watching them and making sure that they're not stealing stuff out of other people's bags and things along those lines. But yeah, it kind of ticks me off that this narrative is being spun that it was like this harmless 5-year-old autistic kid, and it really looks to me like it was an older kid that happened to be messing with her toddler. You know, it doesn't look like her baby is is that old to be having to deal with freaking 5'6", 11-year-old kids stealing their toys while they're at the playground. All right? So I don't like that narrative that is being spun there. And also, I'm not going to sit here and allow people to fake outrage over this story and flip out over this story after they were just celebrating the death of Austin Metcalf, after they were just supporting Carmelo Anthony, getting hundreds of thousands of dollars so his family can get new cars and move into new houses simply from making money off of the senseless murder of a young white child. These people were celebrating that. They were loving that just yesterday, but now all of a sudden it's a problem, which is why I told people who were trying to make the freedom of speech argument when it came to all of the racist stuff that Carmelo's supporters were saying in his little fundraiser. I was telling people that, hey, I don't think this is okay. This isn't right. And people were saying, well, it's free speech, free speech. Let's see how free speech goes now. Because guess what? There's no investigation into the people forming militias in support of Carmelo Anthony. There's no investigation into the racist, hateful stuff that Carmelo Anthony's supporters have been saying day in and day out, using racial slurs nonstop. There's no investigation into that. But guess what? There is an investigation into Shiloh. Guess what? The NAACP is coming out against Shiloh. They're freaking contacting the governor of Minnesota over Shiloh. Meanwhile, all of the nasty, evil, racist things that have been said about Austin Metcalf and surrounding that case, it has all been ignored. Yeah, it may seem like there's a lot of people talking about it because you watch these videos, but largely it's been ignored. Shiloh, on the other hand, is not going to be ignored. They're going to explore every avenue they can when it comes to going after her. You best believe that. So the freedom of speech stuff, it sounds good, but understand, they want the freedom of speech to apply to certain people. And those people do not look like me, and they don't look like a lot of you guys watching this video. Now, when it comes to all of the donations that are rolling in for Shiloh, I honestly think that it's less about Shiloh and it's more so about Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. Like, I really think the fact that the reason why she's raising all of this money is not necessarily because of her situation. It's more so in a response to all of the money that Carmelo Anthony raised. And understand that Carmelo Anthony's supporters and the little activist group are going to use the Shiloh story, and they're going to use her raising all of this money. They're going to use that as an argument against Austin Metcalf supporters. It's kind of like when we saw the Summer of Love, right? When we saw all of the riots for an entire summer, all of the BLM riots, burning down cities, autonomous zones, all of that. We saw all of that go on for months, and then we had January 6th. And yeah, sure, the Summer of Love was way worse than January 6th, but January 6th gave them an argument to use when you talk about the BLM protest, right? That's the argument that they overplayed and the outplayed. They tried to make it like a national holiday and be super dramatic about it, even though they just rioted and protested and went crazy for months on end. Oh boy, they acted like J6 was the end of the world, right? That's exactly what they're going to do with Shiloh. Yeah, they acted an ass behind Carmelo Anthony. They said all of these racist, hateful things. They were raising all of this money for racist reasons. They went crazy, ham, whatever you want to call it. But now, they're going to look at the Shiloh story and use that as an argument. Well, you raised a bunch of money for a lady that said the N-word. Just like when you call out the BLM riots, they'll say, yeah, well, people protested and went crazy at the Capitol on January 6th. That's what the Shiloh story is. The Shiloh story, in many ways, is like the January 6th of the Carmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf case. It's a way that it's another thing that they're going to try to use to change the narrative, to switch the narrative, to spin the narrative. Because for the last few weeks here in America, there's been a lot of focus on the Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony situation. And people have been looking at this crazy reaction from Carmelo's supporters. They've been seeing this community come together and support the death of Austin Metcalf, right? But now the conversation is going to switch a little bit to, oh my God, look at all of these people supporting Shiloh. They're all supporting a lady for saying the N-word. So I understand that what's happening is in response to Carmelo Anthony, but I do also understand that this is definitely going to be something that is going to be used against the people who support Austin Metcalf. That's exactly how this is going to be spun. And it's only a matter of time. The media will be picking up on it soon. I'm surprised they haven't already, but they're always a little late to things. So just watch all the ways that they try to spin this story. They'll try to memory hold the fact that a young white child was just killed and his death was celebrated by all of these people. They're going to memory hold that, and they're going to change the national conversation to, oh man, how dare people raise money for this lady after what she said? So that's how things will play out. It's very predictable to me. But you guys let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.